Welcome to Caregiver Counsel, Elder Law Insights with Tieesha Taylor. Welcome to Caregiver Counsel, Elder Law Insights. Tieesha Taylor is the founder of Elderly Care Law Firm, and this is a show where Florida families come for guidance, clarity, and compassion for legal support through some of the life's most emotional decisions. From Medicaid and Guardianship to probate and long-term care, she is here to help you navigate the challenges with confidence and care. I'm Heidi Mack, and in this very first episode, we're sharing a bit about how Tieesha got started in elder law and why serving caregivers with what she calls compassionate generational legal service how it's become her life's work. This episode is from Advocacy to Elder Law. Meet Tieesha Taylor. Welcome, Tieesha. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Well, let's start with your journey. Did you always plan to become an elder law attorney?
You know what? I did not. So my plan was to become a real estate developer, believe it or not. I started in law school. I went to the University of Miami and received my master's in law in real property development. My goal after law school was to become a developer and build age restricted housing. So I wanted to focus on housing for those who were 55 and up. And that was my goal initially.
All right. Did you do any volunteer work that helped shape your path?
Yeah, so how I started down this elder law path was I was laid off on my birthday in 2007. I was working for a real estate developer, and the real estate market was taking a dive, I would call it. And I was laid off on my birthday. And at that point, I said, I know there is something else I should be doing. If real estate is not it, the real estate market is crashing. So I didn't know where to go. I still did not want to practice law at this point. And so I decided to be of service. So I started volunteering with an organization called the Long Term Care Ombudsman Program. I volunteered with them. They would go out and inspect nursing homes, assisted living facilities, and also respond to complaints from residents of those facilities. So one day I was assigned a case where an elderly woman's rights were removed from her through a guardianship proceeding. Her property was being sold. She was fully competent, but she just was unable to speak well. And so I helped her in this journey of restoring her rights. So she was able to restore her rights, go back into her home, and live out the rest of her years in her home. And so that was my journey. I attended some networking event, and a gentleman said, Hey, do you know there's an area of law called elder law? Is that what you're doing? So I looked into that and I started the process of elder law.
That is amazing. So, that experience, did that push you towards even opening your own law firm?
It did. Yeah, it did. So I started my own law firm at that point. I started in my second bedroom of my home, taking
Oh,
calls and going out networking, building my book of business. And
I
I
start
started a
somewhere.
book club. Yeah. And so I decided, listen, okay, let's go down this path. And I loved it ever since. I was also working with veterans. So I had some veterans cases with some older veterans. And I said, yeah, this is my path. This is where I need to be.
You know what I mean? They're one of those, it's one of those classes that, get forgotten. So it's an amazing thing what you're doing.
Yeah.
I love that. I used to volunteer myself in homes, just talking to people. I didn't do anything as important as what you're doing, but I did give them company, and I love listening to stories. So
Yeah. Isn't it wonderful just listening to their stories and seeing where they came from and
hey,
just,
they've
yeah.
been here on this planet a lot longer than I have. So
Exactly, they have a lot of more knowledge, agreed, yes.
elder law is such a specific and emotional area of law. What drew it to you long term? Like, what drew you to that?
Yeah, so what drew me to this area long term was the type of clients I had to work with. They were always so sweet and kind, and I felt like I was really making a difference. This area of law, believe it or not, when I started, it was relatively new. So a lot of people didn't even know what elder law was. I, in fact, had to change my name to Elderly Care Law Firm, our firm's name to Elderly Care Law Firm, because no one knew what elder law. They thought my last name was elder law. So I
Okay.
really
Oh,
wanted.
yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, and they were like, "Who is elder law?" And I said, "Well, that's the type of law I practice, and I love it because I get to help all generations. So I can help the family, I can help the children, I can help the grandchildren, the grandparents. And so we're generational legal services. And that's what really drew me to this area. I was really making an impact on people's lives. And I could see it every time we would come up with a plan or help them with their long term care. I could actually see the effects that we were having on people's lives.
And yeah, like you were just saying, with you work with a wide range of families, from adult children, the LGBTQ plus couples, blended families. How do you make each one of them feel seen and supported?
Yeah, so each family, they have their own dynamic, they have their own questions and issues. And we consider ourselves a holistic law firm. So we look at every area of their lives. There are some firms that just focus on certain areas. We look at the entire person. So whether they come from certain demographics. We know how to meet them at where they are and make sure that they feel heard and that we continue that compassion to every type of family, blended families, all types of families. We help nurture and make sure that they get what they want because a lot of people may not know how to deal with certain family dynamics, but we've been doing it for years and I enjoy doing that because everyone is unique. Every family situation is different, and we know how to address that.
Yeah, I was gonna say you were talking about how you do a little bit of a different approach. What makes it different from traditional legal services?
Yeah, and then to go back, we look at the entire person. So we just don't
Mhm.
fix one area. We look at them from the time that families are having small children, starting families. We also do some special needs planning where if families have children who happen to have special needs, and to grandparents and adult children. We help them come up with a plan that's good for the family. So I think that's what makes us unique is that we don't just push papers, we don't just push documents. We come up with a comprehensive plan to say, okay, you're here, you want to be in place B, you're at A. How can we get you there? And how can we get you there? And most times in a cohesive, peaceful manner instead of fighting. Of course, we do address some issues with litigation and fighting, but for the most part, we want to show compassion and be able to help the families heal and come out on the other side through compassion and working together.
And you were using, that word compassion. It goes with that phrase that you like to use, the compassionate generational legal service. What does that mean to you?
What compassionate generational legal services means is showing people a sense that you really care about them. Because a lot of law firms have the reputation of just pushing papers or people coming to them, clients coming to them, and they fix their issue and then they move on. We want to create a relationship, a compassionate relationship with our clients that lasts throughout their entire lives. So I've had clients for years that will continuously come back to us. We address certain issues. We've come up with a comprehensive plan, and we are with them, holding their hands until they pass away. So generational means we start with the children, the grandchildren, the elderly grandparents a lot of times, and so we just make sure that we provide compassion and treat them like we would treat our own family during this transition.
That's lovely. I mean, talking about families is just amazing. Just seeing the compassion that you have for it. I can feel that in this podcast.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. So, what are some of the misconceptions then that families may have when they first reach out to you?
Yeah, a lot of families, when they first reach out to us, they feel that they don't need an elder law attorney because they don't have enough assets or property. And we walk them through situations where you can even just have one home or one bank account. And it's important to set up a comprehensive plan to make sure those assets go where they need to go and where our clients want them to go. Another misconception is that the state or the nursing home will take their property. So we try to walk them through that, address some of their concerns, and make sure that they can walk away from our office feeling peaceful and at ease. I would just name another misconception is that a lot of families will come to us arguing maybe with their siblings and they can't really address some of the issues that they want to address within the family dynamic. And so they always feel that it has to be either black or white or this way or that way. But we can come together and come up with a plan that will work for all family members. So it doesn't have to just be one sibling or one child making the decision. When you have several, we can come up with plans that would allow all the children to contribute. So those are some of the most common misconceptions we have when we deal with clients.
Well, and Tisha, to sum things up, what do you hope this podcast will offer to listeners and caregivers who do feel overwhelmed by this process?
Yeah, I mean, the goal of this podcast was to think back over my all the years that I've been practicing elder law and some of the most common misconceptions and the common issues that continue to come up in every consultation, in every case. I really want to address it in a real way. So um, caregivers and family members can kind of understand some of those things that are difficult to understand. They'll search Google, they'll look online, and there's so many opinions. But I really want to give them a place to really understand what they can do and what steps they can take, and to provide that information to them in a real, down to earth, compassionate way.
Of course, wonderful. Thank you. That's it for the first episode of Caregiver Counsel Elder Law Insights with Tieesha Taylor. If your family is facing questions about elder care, Medicaid, or guardianship, Tieesha and her team are here to help. Visit elderlycarelawfirm.com to learn more, and be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review if you've enjoyed today's episode. Thank you so much for joining us, Tieesha. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and leave us a review in the comments.